had I said that, I'll be on the job.
And sir, just to add to what Ashish said, yes, I mean, we all accept that we should not at least go on a negative front or talk about that. But the point was, we also try to ensure in our discussion, I won't call it a debate, it was a very hot discussion which we had. And the discussion, the objective was to come out with the reality. At one point when we said that frameworks are not important or standards are not important, we also tried to include both of them together. Like I gave an example of including in organizations where we have ITSM along with ISO 27001. So the objective was to tell that yes, there is an integrity between them, there is a correlation between them, and they coexist to ensure that the returns are coming out. So the whole objective was to give the complete figure out of the things. So just to say that we tried to we didn't try to go out of the track, just wanted to ensure that we are on the right track and giving the exact coexistence or correlation between the standards and framework. And wherever we think there is missing, we agree that it's not a checklist. There are tools, there are procedures which are being followed. And I mentioned in my slide also, like, when the standards are made, they are made in these stages. So this stage cannot be made in an Excel sheet with a checklist. This requires a tool, it requires a platform wherein it can be done. So, but then yes, if there is something or if there is anyone who has been hit by it, then we take back our words in that case. The objective was to bring in the reality and nothing personal.
One thing, it is not about question. I believe we are hearing again from Mr. Christopher about the very same phrase, same thing. If this happened in the semi-final and if it is happening again, then if we cannot impress them with our brilliance.
Yeah.
I have a theory, I don't want to get into a debate on my theory. I sometimes believe that you have to get that shit out of you. So that I don't want to produce that shit again. I believe in the theory that you omit out, you got sometimes maybe, so that I know that I'm puking out, I'm shitting out. And if this is giving us bad odor, I'm going to create another shit again. So maybe that's one. Second is, I believe, it's not about justification of them. Want to make a point, simple point. I may not get a chance, or I may not want to take a chance towards the end of the day to say this, that the topic's choice has been applauded well, has been applauded so very well that judges all across 7 cities, 8 cities have acknowledged the fact that it has been difficult for us. It would have been difficult for us even at this age of life to be on this side. Now, next thing and last thing, that with due respect to judges, to audience, to people, see, I believe maybe there is reproduction of the points and representation of the points. But I believe unless and until they are presented well, so that everybody ends up seeing both the sides. So maybe they might win up your hearts by their words, by presenting the other side very well. But I believe that is what we are here for, to get that shit out and to reach to the planet, I guess. Thanks. Yeah, questions from judges? Are we done with the questions from judges?
I'll just mention one thing. I think most of the judges will also agree with me that I, as a judge, is evaluating the performance of the participants and not really emotionally involved into the idea and the thoughts and spoken words of these gentlemen. So I think it should be very clear. We are here to evaluate the performance. That's it.
Very nice.
Yeah, so there are two questions from audience.
Just a question to Mohit about the same diagram, the innovation point which we were discussing. So, standards poster innovation, I have a question to you regarding, the CMMI L5 process area itself, OID. So it is there. Without OID, you cannot go to the L5 maturity level. So in that case, do you think that this statement is true, or what is your take regarding that? If I don't have an innovation, the standard itself says that I have to have the innovation in my organization.
Right. See, the point when I argued upon this philosophy is, although I haven't read the details of it, it was just one snapshot which was shown, so based upon some facts which Ashish gave. The point was, when I say that I agree, standards do appreciate innovation, and we know that. Standards don't say that you do not have innovation. Like one of our respected judges put up the point, and I gave them a scenario. Standards sometimes are too much rigid on what they are saying. So on one point of time, they say that we respect the innovation and we appreciate that. But at the same point of time, they focus too much on certain disciplines and certain pointers that even if your innovation is coming out of it, they won't accept it. Like you've seen the movie Three Idiots, right? Now in that, I believe most of us have seen that. In that, whosoever was the principal, Boman Irani, that actually punished a guy who was a student who invented a helicopter, right? But he could not appreciate him. Why? Because the student could not give his final exams and could not make him pass for the BTech examinations in the final. Now he did an innovative job of developing or creating a helicopter, but wasn't appreciated for that. Same is the case with the standards. Standards do appreciate innovation. It's not like that, but they become too rigid that in those boundaries of rigidity which are being imposed upon you or the disciplines which you have to follow, you do not get much room to be more flexible and creative. So that was the reason, why we came to that point. However, like we all agree, both of them are required standards, and that's what I, quoted.
I will just add one thing as far as innovation is concerned. I don't think you should link standardization or standards with innovation directly. Because I believe necessity is the mother of invention, and that stands as of today. Most of you may not have realized, but most of the gadgets which you are holding in this room today has because of a necessity which is arising in certain organizations. I come from a defense background, and I know most of the high-tech products which we are using today are because it was first asked for in the defense services, where you really don't have such rigid standards or where you don't even have such frameworks to name, although they have standard operating procedures and other documents, but they are not formally christened as such. So it is necessity which, fosters or which makes you innovative. That's what you should remember.
Last question.
Yeah, I think you can hear me. In a fast-moving industry, if you are given an option, would you choose standards or would you choose framework?
Both of them.
Given an option.
Given an option,
Yeah.
okay.
And you need to, both of you need to just say.
See,
I'm just thinking.
again, you are putting us in the shoes of debate. I mean, I can give my thoughts. Ashish is also brilliant enough to give his thoughts. But the thoughts will not be filtered, right? But even if you want the answer,
One second. When you answer this question, I have second part to it, but I don't know to give you.
You know what? This is what you are saying is the standard. That you answer this in yes or no. Take one stand, and whatever you choose, I have two more options.
So it's a framework.
This is a standard. That is what my point was. You are not giving me flexibility to be rigid. You are too rigid to give me flexibility, and that's what my whole discussion was. You are putting so many standards on me. See, you have to take a stand, and after you take a stand, I'll have two more questions for you.
This is because
So-
you answered my question before.
But then I'll answer you. See, the point is, don't be standardized, okay? Let's be flexible. The whole point over here is that if I have to choose one of them in the fast-growing industry, if I have to choose one of them, toss, I would say I would go with the innovation. And most of the things, if you see, are slowly moving towards innovation. However, examples, Agile is taking lead over standard project management methodologies, number one. Number two, cloud computing is coming up into the picture instead of in-house application database or data centers or whatever it is. But at the moment, people are very happy to go ahead with cloud computing with Agile, but they have also started seeing the repercussions of it. So they are now moving towards defining what would be the governance of it. Like yesterday, when I was discussing about the cloud computing, some of the people came up and asked me that, Mohit, don't you think there would be too much risk into it? How will we manage it? I said yes, because cloud is too much cloudy today, and the governance around that cloud is yet to be made. So at the moment, taking the pace of the time, I would go with innovation because things are changing. I want to come up with my thought. But at the same point of time, going forward, we would be requiring a standardization or a governance over it.
Are you saying that you would choose framework?
Initially, I mean, you put me into that shoes that you have to choose. So you are ISOs are I'm just an organization, so I have to follow you, right? That's the big standard.
Okay, when you answer, I will put the second question.
Okay, so my
That's a very interesting question. I mean, while Mohit was speaking, I had ample time to think about it. Especially, and I was basically trying to see how exactly is it related to my kind of work. And let me come back to IT because that is the domain I work in. In most cases, and Mohit brought up the point of agile concepts are usually frameworks, especially Scrum. Even when we are implementing Scrum for developing software, which has quick turnaround times, you deliver something in 3 or 4 weeks, the risk always remains that when you have SLAs, when you have some kind of a commitment to the customer, the framework doesn't support that. In order to deliver on those premises, you need to have a standard in place. And if you don't have the standard in place, ultimately you lose your customer. So I would say, even though it is very tempting to say that now that the world is changing, everything is so fast moving, we should just let go of the standards and just framework. I will say we have to be careful about making that choice. I would say, yes, frameworks are definitely useful, but the standard helps us keep it safe. That would be my opinion.
Okay, my understanding is that you are supporting frameworks and you are supporting.
No, we both are supporting both of them.
No, you are supporting, but I had given you a choice.
Choice,
My
on the choice.
second part is, that is my understanding. Okay, I might be wrong. That is another issue. The second part is that if I am upcoming industry and if I am at the top of the industry, what is that I would prefer?
Can you just justify this point? I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think also what he's trying to say is that
No, because he said you are an upcoming industry and you are top of the industry. So,
There are 2 companies.
okay.
One is at the top,
Uh-huh.
and one is just a startup company.
Okay.
Okay, now you justify where they should be heading.
What are they in the same industry? Can you give the
No,
example?
I'm not asking them to compete with each other.
Mhm.
This is about frameworks and standards.
I got this point in my presentation also, and let me just quickly, I think you also hit the same point. When a company is starting off, and I had the cost of adoption, total cost of adoption, it makes sense to have a standard. Because you haven't had the capability so far to see what the world has to offer. First of all, you have to get to a certain level, and for that, the standard is necessary. But once you are at the top of the industry, where you know you are at the top of the game, you're free to define your own standards, and that is how we're talking about Point by and all these companies. So, in my opinion, if you're just beginning, having a standard is probably the way to go. You need a helping hand. But once you know the rules of the game, you define your own standards.
Right. And moreover, when you are on the top of the industry, your inbuilt processes and frameworks would have been at such a mature level that you at every point of time do not need a guidance or a standardization. Like when you were in class 5th, your father would be, discussing your studies and everything on a day-to-day basis. But as and when you grow up and you are mature now, I think he would be least interfering in your work. He would be just asking you like, how is going on, and just in some point of time. It's not the frequencies list. So what Ashish said is right, that when you are coming up, you should have a standard maintained because you need to learn things, you need to know what is discipline. Once you are at that level, I don't need to teach you what is discipline, but I need to keep a small check whether you are being disciplined or not. That is what the point is.
Thank you, Ashish and Mohit, for a wonderful debate. Now we'll take a small break of 15 minutes and we'll be back with the next debate now.